Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andy Steadman. I'm the Development Manager for Merchant Place Developments. I'm a chartered surveyor by profession, approximately 22 years experience, working in construction industry both as a project manager and cost consultant. My role will be to bring about successful delivery of the rail vehicle assembly facility for Hitachi. Jeff mentioned the first contract we'll be looking to procure is the archaeological investigation. Now, under the outline plan permission we have, Merchant Developments is required to implement a programme of archaeological investigation in accordance with an agreed mitigation strategy. In addition to this, there's also a requirement to monitor the soil strip of the whole site. To avoid any programme overruns and de-risk that element of it, Merchant has commissioned a geophysical survey of the entire site to identify any areas of significant archaeological interest, and this supplements a previous survey that was carried out back in 2002. In addition to this, in order to satisfy various ecological requirements for the site, Merchant has also commissioned a number of important species surveys, including bat, waterbull, badger, nesting birds and newts, to establish any further requirements for additional licensing. In terms of scope, the archaeology will cover a detailed investigation of remains in 2 zones which have been identified in plots 3A, which are the 2 zones coloured red there. Total area is approximately 5.5 hectares. In addition to this, there will also be a requirement to investigate the post-medieval farm of Whitmore Farm, and also to investigate and record historic hedgerows. We estimate the value of the contract for the archaeology to be in the order of £250,000, including the fieldwork, post-analysis and publication. In terms of procurement strategy, in accordance with the Durham County archaeologist, we'll be looking to select, put together a tender list of approximately 3 archaeology contractors who will tender for the archaeology on a single stage fixed price basis. The form of contract we'll be proposing to use will be a modified JCT or NEC3. In terms of opportunities for the supply chain, clearly, given the size and value of the archaeology contract, we envisage between 15 and 20 archaeologists being employed on the site, and a further 3 or 4 supervisors during that period. In addition to that, from a construction perspective, there will clearly be opportunities for fencing contractors, plant hire, welfare, canteens, officers, etc., and site security. In terms of programme, the mitigation strategy, now that we've got the geophysical survey back, we'll be sitting down with Durham County in the near future to agree the mitigation strategy. In terms of tender production, what we'll be looking to do is prepare specifications and go to tender 3rd quarter of this year with the intention of making the contract award in the same period. We expect the field work to start for the archaeology in the 4th quarter of this year, and current expectation is that the field work will take approximately 3 months to complete, and we're looking to see that complete in the 1st quarter of 2013. There will be a degree of phasing with the archaeology which we'll build into the contract. This will allow an overlap with the enabling works, which I will now talk about. One of the key drivers for proposing the enabling works contract is programme certainty, with Hitachi looking to trial build carriages in late 2015. If I can just step back one point in terms of why Hitachi chose Newton Aycliffe. Newton Aycliffe was selected because of its proximity to the existing Shildon branch line and the connectivity it gives Hitachi for an independent test track, which Jeff has mentioned previously. This has resulted in an optimum building finished floor level set at 96.4 metres AOD to achieve that objective. In terms of scope, you can see from the plan there that to give you an idea of scale, we are looking at a topsoil strip of the entire site, which covers all of those plots there, approximately 103,000 cube of topsoil. This will permit structural filling of spoil surplus material from the other zones. In terms of what's coming out of plot 3A, which is the Hitachi site, there's clay excavation of 236,000 cube, rock of 53,000 cube, a small area of fill of 23,000 cube. All in all, this gives us a surplus of 225,000 cube of clay and 58,000 cube of rock after bulking. The design team was tasked with developing a strategy to maximise the reuse of surplus material on site rather than the costly exercise of disposing it off site. We've achieved this by raising the levels of plots 1, plot 2 and plot 3B, the creation of link road embankment, and formation of landscaping mounds around the site itself, and the use of the rock as a suitable fill material. In terms of scope, the earthworks, the enabling work contract will cover bulk earthworks to create the suitable development plateaus for the site as a whole, construction of infrastructure, roads, drainage including suds, ponds, retaining structures, some of the mounding, and structural landscaping. As a value, we're looking at an enabling works contract which will cost in the order of £6 million. In terms of procurement, we will initiate a pre-qualification process with groundwork contractors, and this will be followed by interviews. From there, we will select 3 or 4 to go to competitive tender on a single-stage fixed-price design and build basis. Again, the form of contract that we're more than likely to use will be either a modified JCT or an NEC3 contract. In terms of opportunities for supply chain, again, like we have for the archaeology, there will be opportunities for local firms for supplying fencing, plant hire, welfare facilities and site security. In addition to that, there will be opportunities for local road surfacing contractors, concreters, bricklayers, hauliers, landscape contractors and drainage contractors. In terms of programme, our expectation is that we will start the tender process in the 3rd quarter of 12, preparation of tender documentation, going out to tender adjudication, with the intention that we make a contract award for the enabling contract in the 4th quarter of this year. We anticipate those works then starting in the new year, 1st quarter 2013. The works themselves will take approximately 6 months to complete, and the expectation is the enabling works contract will be complete by the 2nd quarter of 2013. It is their intention, though, that there will be an overlap between the enabling works finishing and the main contract, which Mark will talk about shortly. That concludes my overview of archaeology enabling works contract strategy. Thank you very much for your time.